Fellow Biafrans and fellow Igbo men and women, I will name the names of people that I'm sure now they are celebrating Simon Ekpa's downfall. Simon Ekpa is not fighting for his family, he's not fighting for Adam, his son, alone. He is not fighting for Ebonyi State, where he came from alone. He is fighting for the whole of the Igbos. But for the fact that he stopped all these criminals not to be eaten from the pulse of the Biafrans, all in the name of defending Biafrans, all of them turned against him. Ifeanyi Ejiofor have organized a banquet since yesterday. As I'm talking to you now, there is a celebration because him and his counterpart, that is Nigerian government and Finland, have succeeded in taking Simon Ekpa out of the way for a period of 36 months, which 9 months or rather 18 months have already been spent. So, anyway, press statement according to Ifeanyi Ejiofor. On our touch, on our talk, Igbo, on our way down. The conviction of Simon Ekpa, a historic lesson against fraud, violence, and misguided preachings. Introduction. The conviction of Simon Ekpa today by a district court in Finland does not come to me as a surprise. I have long understood the weight of his infractions, the inherent weakness of his defense, and the inevitable collapse of the fraudulent empire he built on lies, violence, and exploitation. A history of deceit and violence. From the very beginning, when Simon Ekpa launched his treacherous bid to usurp the authority of the Directorate of SABOS, DOS, of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, his agenda was never hidden. He was aided both openly and secretly by individuals and groups whose mission was to derail the genuine struggle for self-determination, sow confusion, and ultimately reduce Igbo into a theater of violence, bloodshed, and blackmail. IPOB are accusing Simon Ekpa of working for Nigeria. Now, the same person who is speaking for DOS, that is IPOB Nigeria Limited, are accusing Simon Ekpa that is the agent provocateur of Nigerian government, right? Now, their main lawyer, will be Ifeanyi Ejiofor, now come out and tell us whose mission that is working for individuals and groups. Who are those groups? When I see how these people, they lie. Na tonda ketekpa ya agbabu Ifeanyi Ejiofor, ketekpa ya agbabu Ifeanyi Ejiofor. Ifeanyi Ejiofor ya wonwu ifere. I am not spokesperson to Simon Ekpa, but make on the listing. He said whose mission was to derail the genuine struggle for self-determination, sow confusion, and ultimately reduce Igbo into a theater of violence, bloodshed, and blackmail. For a time, they succeeded. Simon Ekpa's daily declarations, reckless amplified across media platforms, were swallowed hook, line, and sinker by vulnerable and misguided elements, his so-called foot soldiers. That's me and you they are referring to. Whenever apprehended, we never mention his name or his Biafra Liberation Army. Instead, they will falsely claim to be IPOB members, thereby tarnishing the image of a peaceful global movement. This strategic deception provided the Nigerian state with excuses to brutalize innocent and peaceful agitators and criminalize a global recognized peaceful movement. Let me pause here and also make this comment before I forgot. When Nigerian police and military murdered people in Aba, Enugu, Okpon, Anambra State, Simon Ekpa was nowhere to be found. Nobody even know that he's championing for the Biafran movement. When military organized Operation Python Dance #1 and Operation Python Dance #2 at Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's residence, where they killed over 28 to 30 people, Simon Ekpa was nowhere to be found. Now, make una see you waiting this guy they talk here. Say that because of Simon Ekpa, now I make military, they go they shoot innocent protesters. Since Simon Ekpa assumed office as a Biafran leader or as a brigade leader, there's nothing like protest. The only protest we have been doing since then, since 2021, no make una remember, na sit at home. Una see how these people are celebrating because they are working with Nigerian government. Okay, my public stand and sacrifices. Throughout this dangerous era, I raised my voice on every available platform, including mainstream media, warning our people to reject Simon Ekpa and his poisonous preachings. I was attacked, vilified, and branded a saboteur simply because I insisted on speaking the truth. He built his criminal empire on deceit, harvesting money from gullible followers while fabricating lies about warships, fighter jets, and deaths of Biafra independence that never came to pass. My public stance put a target on my back in the hands of Ekpa and his misguided foot soldiers. The irony remains painful. Even after each false prophecy failed, some continued to clap for him, pouring in financial contributions while he lived in comfort abroad, and our youths died at home. Educated elites who should have known better sometimes defended him, or worse, remained silent out of fear of complexity. It is important to recall that IPOB's leadership, under the Directorate of Sabo, repeatedly and vocally condemned Simon Ekpa's actions, distancing the global peaceful movement from his violence. Yet, he continued to receive covert approval from certain individuals, some of whom today are among the loudest in calling for his head. Their silence at a critical moment remains a betrayal history will not forget. Lesson from his conviction. Simon Ekpa's conviction under a jurisdiction that respects human rights and the rule of law offers deep lessons. It demonstrates that no amount of lies, propaganda, or fraudulent appeals to self-determination can shield a criminal enterprise built on fraud, bloodshed, and deception. It is therefore imperative that our people begin to wear their thinking caps and ask hard questions. No regional mind should have believed Ekpa's atrocious lies about station warships and combat-ready jets in Igbo land. His entire project was nothing but an elaborate scam designed to defraud the very people he claimed to liberate. Okay, now, the DOS you are working with are saying he's working for Nigeria. Now you said he is a scammer, scamming Biafrans. Yeah? Two different messages, two different allegations from the same people working. Even now, some of his misguided followers are being deceived into believing that his conviction somehow upheld his right to self-determination. That is false. The court never upheld any such right because his trial and conviction was never about his purported right to self-determination. Rather, the court convicted him for fraud, deception, and actions that funded violence against the same people he professed to defend. That is the height of criminality. The human cost of his fraud. The chickens have indeed come home to roast. But what about the thousands of lives which have been wasted as a result of Ekpa's poisonous preachings? Many of his misguided followers languished in detention without trial. Many were killed extrajudicially. Their parents and families remain in pain throughout this era. Not only of the lawyer secretary hobnobbing the Ekpa was bold enough to openly defend his followers or seek their release. Instead, the victims of his scam were abandoned while he thrived abroad. Ifeanyi Chukwu, the idiot lawyer, let me also remind you, some couple of months ago or weeks ago, you were cited in Ebonyi State celebrating the release of Biafrans being kidnapped or abducted, about 20-something of them in a Ebonyi State prison in our own land, in a Ebonyi State prison. For simply because they are IPOB members, or most of them said we are even forcefully or wrongly accused, and you went there for them. Under Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, not under Simon Ekpa. So those ones now, waiting cause them, why are they in prison? Since it is only Simon Ekpa that make his followers to go inside prison. under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, up till tomorrow, they are still our members, even the members of MASOB that are still inside jail as I'm talking to you this moment. It shall never be well with this guy. The human cost of fraud, okay, the time for a new beginning, according to him. It is time for stock taking, time to reject criminality, fraud, and blackmail as tools of agitation. Time to rise above emotional manipulation and stand firmly for truth, justice, and peaceful struggle. Ekpa may be convicted today, but the scars of his deceit and the devastation left behind will take years to cleanse from our Igbo. In conclusion, let the lesson be clear to all. No legitimate struggle for liberation can be built on deceit, fraud, and violence against one's own people. Those who still glorify Ekpa or trade his part are not freedom fighters, they are merchants of death. The future of our Igbo must never again be left in the hands of impostors who exploit the pain of their people for personal gains. May Chukwu Okeabiama, whose holy name has been shamelessly invoked by both the righteous and the fraudulent, deliver our land and guide our people into light, wisdom, and peace. Signed, Sir Ifeanyi Chukwu Ejiofor Esquire, KSC, Knight of Saint Church, Saint Catholic. But I don't see him now, eh? So on this now, what are you going to say concerning this matter? When I see how the so-called lawyers in Nigeria have now turned to content creators. The same thing Deji is doing, and they are condemning him. It's the same thing. Look at Ifeanyi Ejiofor. An old man, as old as this man is, his first daughter is about getting married. Look at how he's fooling himself online. Anyway, let me not talk much. Let me see what my people think concerning this matter at the comment section, because they be like, say I don't speak a lot. Ike said, even Barrister Ejiofor is rejoicing over Simon Ekpa, but can't name one Fulani herdsmen terrorist under the guise of Lakurawa, Boko Haram, Ishuap, Mahmuda terrorist group that has been convicted of massacring Nigerians in Nigeria, but rejoiced over Simon Ekpa not found with a gun. You know, they hear him. Now somebody write this one. Now somebody wrote this one. I ask again, what is wrong with some of us, Igbo Nigerians? That is a very big question. A very big question. As a lawyer, all those ones, they are, what they call it, they are saying, repentant Boko Haram. As a lawyer and a human rights activist, is to approach the court and say, this is not the way to do it. You sue the federal government, they do them. I don't see them many times. If Nigeria do the one that's not good, will sue Nigeria to court, and they will go there to clarify whatever they did that is not right. Let me see people who reply to him. Biafran is our hope, said, so because the North shaded those terrorists you mentioned here, we should also share terrorists in Biafra land. Thunder fire you and your evil generation. Okay, I must pray for Biafra restoration. Says some of all these Igbo people talking nonsense about Biafra struggle are bad blood from the children of devil. Jay said it is not in his place to convict or name them. So wait till they got convicted to see if he will rejoice. For now, let's enjoy the conviction of the terrorist Simon Ekpa. Eloka said, now wow, even if I don't really rate this on a struggle like that, cause na illiterate Fulham, it is very clear everything this man has said now. Yes, it is very, very clear. No love at all. We are the problem of ourselves. Okay. Chukuje Kufi said that you should be ashamed of yourself for wasting people's time here reading this, your hate epistle. I wonder why you haven't been along with the legal team of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu since you are trustworthy. Peoples like you were once called him agent of zoo government, despite his true determination and progressive role in this struggle. Yes, that is one thing I forgot to say. People like him, even when he was Ekpa was not convicted, this monkey was everywhere that Simon Ekpa is working for the zoo. Now he said now Simon Ekpa is working for some group of people and some individuals. Obadiah also said Ekpa nearly destroyed IPOB, but this struggle has the blessings of the Almighty Chukwu Okeabiama. Ado Aka Chinedu said, all you guys are failures, so you are happy now, but know that God is watching all of us. Anyway, let me just call it a quit here. When I go hear my voice again when I come back, just like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing for more interesting videos coming your way. I, Okulora, we will be here always to serve you. Kemesiano, my wonderful people.